Holy smokes, Donald Trump's Stimulus 2.0 might be one of the most exciting things ever if you frankly own stocks, real estate, a business, want to start a business, are American, are a citizen, or just love money. So if you aren't a citizen, don't love money, don't own stocks, don't own real estate, you might not like this bill as much, though there are also some benefits in this. But this is insane. So let's understand what this is first of all. So last year we passed what's called the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. It was basically a collection of a bunch of tax benefits like no interest on car loans, which what good does that do when everybody's giving 0% APR? No tax on Social Security, no tax on tips, obviously subject to limitations, right? And we're like, all right, cool. Yeah, all right, that's cool. But like, is that going to be one and done? And they passed this through budget reconciliation. You could utilize budget reconciliation, which in English means you only need 51 votes to actually get the damn thing passed, which is really important because if you need 60 votes in the Senate, it ain't going to happen because the Democrats are going to go, no thanks. So you use this thing called the Byrd Rule that says that, hey, if there's something that has to do with the debt, revenue, or spending, as long as you can justify to the Senate parliamentarian that the bill has something to do with one of those three things, you can pass one reconciliation bill for each of those three things once a year, or one bill that touches all three things once a year. Okay, we're in 2026. The One Big Beautiful Bill was of 2025. 2027 and 2028 will probably be Democrat-controlled, either House or Senate, and nothing's going to pass. Which means there's a real opportunity to pass a really big, quote, mega bill 2.0 that the Republican Study Committee has already revealed a plan for. And I'm telling you, if you like money, you need to know the components of this because it's probably the most bullish thing I've ever read about the Trump administration. And trust me, I sit here all day long and I read crap about the Trump administration, whether we're talking about the DOJ or Trump's love and hate relationship for Bondi or Iran or whatever. But this is just like, if you love money, OMG. So what is this? So we clicked on this slew of proposals and got some Google Drive link, which takes us to this. Glorious American flag and the eagle. Making the American dream affordable again. Now, we've already gone through all this, so we'll give you the bottom line. Keep this straight for you. Basically, these are the marketing premises. We're going to get the free market to slash the costs of living in America, right? Don't forget about that. We got to get into the actual money. Like, why are stocks going to go up, Kevin? Why is real estate going to go up? Why are you going to make more money with businesses in this? All right, one thing at a time. You ready for this? Here we go. So the policies that they're promoting. First, the Dawn Payment Program. This is the Donald Down Payment Program. Basically, it would open up the potential door to doing zero or low down payment options through FHA. Now, you have to understand that today, the Federal Housing Administration already authorizes a 3.5% down loan. But this comes with what's known as mortgage insurance premium, and it's permanent now. You cannot get rid of mortgage insurance premium once you get to 20% equity like you can with PMI, which is known as private mortgage insurance. So this has been one of the issues why a lot of people don't end up doing the 3.5% down with FHA. I actually think it's a great program. I bought my first house with an FHA loan, 3.5% down, 203K loan, which is the renovation loan. It's a little bit of a hell of a process. But today, the only 0% option you have is if you're a veteran. You could also do something called a no-no, which is no down payment, no closing costs, and you could actually finance like 104, 105% of your actual loan. Now, this obviously then immediately makes people worried. If they're going to expand these lower down payment options, are we rebuilding in 2008? So yes and no here. The issue going into 2008 was that we didn't have the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and we didn't have the ability to repay rule. We didn't have limits on people actually needing to prove that they have the job and the income to repay their loans. And this is where debt to income obviously matters and qualifying borrowers matters. So as long as Donald Trump doesn't gut the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which he did last year, but then courts have overruled that and says they've said that you have to keep funding it, we're not going to see a housing bubble yet. Could it contribute to housing bubble? Yeah, of course. Like, let's be real. Trump wants less regulation and doesn't like the ability to repay rule, doesn't like the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. But it will be a housing bubble for, 10, 20 years or whatever. That takes time to build up. But really, down payment matters less than debt to income. If you can make the payment, the down payment tends to matter less. So anyway, that's one thing that they're looking for. That's obviously bullish for housing. It's a bullish catalyst for housing.
Bullish catalyst
means home prices up, right? Usually it doesn't actually make housing more affordable for people. It just means prices go up for the rich people who already own a bunch of real estate, right? Okay. Now, expanding mortgage portability. This is basically saying that, hey, if you have a 2.7% 30-year fixed rate mortgage on the first house that you're currently living in and you want to move, but you don't want to lose that mortgage, you might be able to transfer it over. Obviously, it's going to be subject to getting a new appraisal. Now, this actually creates a really big bullish catalyst. So I'm gonna show you how to make money on this, okay? So how to make money on this one, owning real estate. Okay, that's how to make money on this top one. All right, that's gonna be different over here. You know what? We'll go with like dark green for how to make money. So how do you make money on this next one, on this mortgage portability thing? The way you make money on this is owning second mortgage lenders. So what I want you to think of is I want you to think of companies like Figure. That's ticker symbol FIGR. They do tokenized HELOCs. HouseHack is looking at getting into doing exactly this with our AI SaaS business. So we have an AI valuation SaaS business. And as we perfect that algorithm this year, we want to get into doing second home loans. Basically like, hey, I found a good deal. Swipe up and get a second home loan, right? Kind of like Figure, and then sell off those loans like Figure. Obviously, we'd just be a competitor in that space. I'm not trying to pitch HouseHack. I'm trying to say that that would be a place to benefit from this. Why? Because if you port over a low interest rate first, you have the capacity to pay more money on a second, but you probably have a bunch of extra equity on the second, and you might need the second to have basically, to bridge the down payment that you're gonna need to get that second property. Obviously, we don't have all the details yet. All of these are just ideas right now, but I'm just gonna give you my first reaction. Number one, you make money owning real estate. Number two, you make money owning second mortgage lenders. Now, Figure is actually one of the stocks that I bought at IPO. It's really rare for me to buy a stock at IPO, so we bought it over here and let it make money. Okay, so over here, we're going to expand access to affordable private housing. Look, as long as we don't know yet how to make money here. Usually developers win by this, but you have to make sure there aren't deed restrictions, because if you deed restrict the affordable housing, which prevents people from like renting it out or actually making money from it, there are actually more problems than benefits you're creating with that, so you have to be careful there. So builders, okay, great. Then we have eliminate capital gains tax on sale of homes to first-time home buyers and sales of rental homes to tenants. Now, this is unfortunately where we had to teabag somebody. They're like, Kevin, this doesn't matter because, you can already get a $500,000 exemption for selling your property. But they misunderstood, and it's fine. We still love them, it's fine. They got to see some really big balls though. But, I don't want to get this video demonetized, so let me get that off the screen. But anyway, $500,000 homeowner exemption works if you live in the property. If you're single and you own a property, you can exclude $250,000, and if you're married, it's $500K. If you live in a property for at least 2 of the last 5 years, which practically means you can only use that exemption every 2 years. That is different from this. That is massively different from this. This is like the most stimulative thing I see in this. Actually, there are a lot of things, including what's coming up on stocks. Just wait for it. But by eliminating capital gains taxes on sale of homes to first-time home buyers and homes to tenants, see that? And on sales of rental homes to tenants. You have to understand what this does. It basically says Donald Trump is calling up HouseHack, going, yo, HouseHack, sell your shizmiz to some of your tenants, and we'll waive all your capital gains taxes on those deliciously profitable wedge deals you guys got. And I'm like, oh, damn, you just increased the ROI of selling real estate a lot, right? Because on a C corporate level, you actually you provide a 21 to 30% benefit for a C corporation, depending on what state you're in. And for individuals, including flippers, like Opendoor, honestly. I don't like Opendoor. I think they have a shice business model. But, how to make money on this? frankly, Open Door is on the list. You know, look, I will tell you my bias, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to tell you the truth. You know, I think Open Door is trash and they're a bad company. Sorry if you like Open Door, but I'm going to be honest with you. This is good for a flipper like Open Door. They can prioritize selling to first-time home buyers and save a crap load of money on capital gains taxes. It's huge, dude. This is huge money if this stuff actually passes, right? Oh, sorry, I put this note down here just for a little color on House Hack. This really doesn't have anything to do with this. So I was just talking about how House Hack makes money. You know, wedge deals, obviously, discounted real estate, building ADUs. We have one spec build going on. Some people are leaving comments saying I should make a full video on it. It's in Utah. It's an area I think it's going to blow up. Maybe I'll make a video on it. Leave me a comment if you want. Then obviously the AI SaaS we have at househack.com. The Teabag coupon works there too. And then tokenized lending on seconds and the sale of properties, which is kind of like Figure, but we can also tokenize sale or sell properties to home buyers or tenants. So there are some really cool things we're working on, including with Coinbase. So we're just like jumping up and down. But anyway, establish home savings accounts. So this is interesting. This is really like, we don't know the details of this, but it sounds kind of like if you put money into some kind of Trump MAGA home savings account, you'd be able to write it off on your taxes. We don't know how much. We don't know, what the amount is, but let's say it's like, hey, you could put 20 grand a year tax-free as long as in the future you use it to buy a house. That's great. That is a fantastic tool. And what you would end up doing is you would invest in stocks in the meantime, presumably, to gain your wealth until you buy a home. That's massively bullish for the stock market, right? So how do you make money on this? Stocks. That's how you make money on this. So on this one, we'll put stocks, okay? This is impose a penalty on foreign companies buying land and real estate in America. Canada has banned foreigners from buying real estate, and you're really trying to ban like the Chinese buyers from buying in SF or Orange County or the foreigners from buying real estate in America. This is also great for, local people buying real estate like us. Anyway, impose remittance taxes. There are going to be some things in here that they do to lower the cost of providing some of this stimulus. And the way they do this is by saying, okay, well, we're going to cut funding for things that we don't support. Like you'll see some Democratic initiatives get some cuts here as well. And remittances are often considered a way to kind of take money away from immigrants who come here. They could be here legally, but they send money back to people in Venezuela or Mexico or wherever. And that is really taxing them, which, that's obviously a political hot button. Okay. Ending the child and dependent tax credit marriage penalty by the requirement that both parents work. This is basically stimulus for children. Okay, now you have to have less than $400,000 a year in income on this. So I wrote that I don't currently qualify for this anyway, except I misspelled qualify. Qualify for this anyway. So how do you make money on this? Have babies, and you'll see more. Now, obviously, babies are going to cost you more, but I'm a big fan of this. Anything that encourages children, big fan. I've got 7. I want more. I also have 4 daughters, and you're going to see why that matters in just a moment. Allow households with only one working parent to contribute double the annual contribution to their 401k. Okay, so 401k limits are like $23,600 or something like that. Your employer can match an amount. So with a SEP, I think you could go up to, or a Simple, you could go up to $70,000 with profit sharing. It's complicated. The numbers change every year. But the point is, you basically double the contribution if just one person is working rather than both. I think that is bullish stocks. Because when people put money into their 401ks, that money flows into what? Stocks. Great.